Hello there, everybody. How's it going? My name is King J. This is Runner3. This game released last year. It is a auto runner that is sort of a rhythm-based platformer, and you may think it's an auto runner game. There's probably not much to speed things up, and you'd be wrong. There's actually a lot of stuff that we can do to speed up the game. So I hold the world record for this game. We didn't run it until recently. Nobody ran it until I picked it up, and there's been a lot of optimizations found recently. So this is the first time this game has ever been in a marathon, and since Command Girl won the bid war, we'll be playing as her. So if we're ready to go, time starts when I select the character. So on go, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So in this game, there are 10 levels per world, and there are 3 worlds. So we're starting off in Food Land. This land, or this world, is completely based around food. So if you haven't eaten yet, it may make you a little bit hungry. And fun fact, if you actually listen in between levels, every time we select a level or a world, the person who is actually voice acting in this game is Charles Martinet, actually, the voice actor of Mario. So you may know him from that, but he's also very well known for the Runner series. There's 3 Runner games. There's Bit Trip Runner, Bit Trip Runner 2, Revenge of Rhythm Alien, or whatever it is. And then there's this, Runner3. This is definitely the least popular of the Runner games. Like I said, nobody really ran it until I picked it up. And so, for the most part, it's a auto runner, and you may think, again, like I said at the beginning, you may think it's an auto runner. There's nothing special about it that we can optimize. We can actually optimize a lot when it comes to it. Starting off with the stuff that we collect in the run. You may see that there are these gold bars that we're collecting along the ways. Throughout the entirety of each level, there are 100 gold bars that we can collect, and that unlocks the gem path afterwards for us to go through. However, we don't care about that. We're just trying to get to the final boss and beat the game. And so, in that, we're trying to collect as few gold bars as possible, because if we collect all 100 gold bars throughout the course of the level, we have to shoot ourselves out of a cannon at the end, and it actually loses, I think, close to 30 seconds. And it also shows you a graphic at the end saying that you collected every gold bar in the level. So we're trying to collect as few collectibles as possible, because for each collectible that we get, it wastes 1 extra second with those 30 seconds tack on. So for the most part, I'm going to try to avoid everything except gold. I can collect as many gold as I want, just as long as I don't get all 100 is all that matters. And like I said, this game is a rhythm game, so if you listen to the music, it's very catchy. Each level has some really good music with it, and I love this game for that reason. There's not really very much optimizations we're going to be doing until later into the game, when we get the springs and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're going to see that I'm doing these things called short hops. You can hold the jump button and do floaty jumps, and it'll keep you in the air for a little bit longer, but that actually slows down your speed. And the way this game works is it speeds up and slows down the song to match where you are in the level. And so depending on how fast we hit the ground, your fastest speed is when you're on the ground instead of floating in the air. So we try to stay on the ground as much as we can. Along with that, dying is the worst possible outcome in this game, obviously. And if we die, we can lose anywhere from just 7 seconds if it's a small death to over a minute if it's a really big death. So we're going to hope for the least amount of deaths possible. And to ensure that, I'm going to be donating $5 per death. And my best run, the current world record that I own, I think it's 3 deaths or more. So if we get a deathless run, I will be ecstatic, but don't expect that. So... but yeah, when it comes to trying to get some time saves in the first few levels are really simple. It's just trying to get you used to the controls, and basically you're only jumping over 1 block high things, and so the way that we save time is jumping as late as possible so we can do short hops over them instead of having to do floaty jumps. Along with that, you're seeing here that I'm actually going up and down with this flying vehicle. We're going to be seeing a couple of these different vehicle parts later into the run. But that's the first one, that little airplane. And the way that airplane works, if we every time we change direction, the game speeds us up a little bit. So we change direction multiple times in midair to save time. And so, again, this is the second level. The run's not going to get interesting until a little bit into it. Later on, when we have like a lot of stuff that we have to dodge, it's kind of nerve-wracking, especially when it comes to trying not to die. When you start off learning this game, it's very much about trying to minimize the amount of deaths you have in the run, for the most part. But later on, you can start going for these time saves. Like, for the most part in this run, all the time saves that I'm going to be talking about save, like, frames, like, nothing big. So I just collected a stereo system here. You've been seeing them throughout the entire course of the run, and you may be wondering what those are. Basically, it's just unlockables for skins in this game, and if you collect all of them, it also goes towards unlocking the gem path, which would be better for other categories in this game. But again, we're doing any percent, so we're just trying to beat the game with as little amount as possible. And so basically, something really important you need to know, I'm trying to collect as few of everything as possible, like I said, but it's extremely important for those stereo systems, because if I collect a stereo system, it does that little voice. It says like extra, ultra, super, stuff like that. And so if I die after I collect one of those, it'll actually waste 3 seconds, because actually like 2 to 3 seconds around there, and it'll say because it'll say whichever one I had before it, before I can start running again, and so it actually wastes time. So for the most part, I'm going to try to grab as like the least amount of those stereo systems as I can, sorry. But if I do grab one by mistake, I'm going to want to make sure that I don't die after that, especially, because that's going to waste more time than a normal death would. So those are the main things I got to watch out for. There's also little figurines that I can collect throughout each level. And like I said before, if I collect a figurine, it shows me collecting it at the end of the level on the end screen. So that loses a second. Also, nice death there. That's $5. Like I said, sometimes my controller slips up. I'm playing on Switch, so there is a little bit of input delay. So that was my issue of the game not reading my input when I put it in there. So if someone can keep a tracker of how many deaths I have, I will very much appreciate that. And for the most part, since we're not collecting everything in the game, a lot of this run is going to seem a little bit boring, because there's a lot of this point where it turns into pressing down the video game, where I just hold down and it saves time. Also, there is a ground pound animation in this game where if we jump and then press down, we can do a little thud. It is needed for some parts where we have to press buttons. You just saw it there, but every time we do it, it breaks up our movement by a few frames. So I'm trying to do it the least amount of times as possible. So whenever I land and I have to slide right after, you're going to see that I'm going to wait a few seconds after I land so that I make sure that I don't get the ground pounding animation. Alright, so also this music is really wonky and weird, and I absolutely adore it, so if you listen to it, it's really good. Also, this game is very tedious to 100%. I'm the only one who runs this game, like I said, so far. I would love if more people ran it. But I've only ran this category as well. I do plan on making more categories for this game. It's just I haven't gone around to it. I've been trying to optimize this category first. And 100% is the category I'm looking forward to the least to running, because this game has a lot of side quests, actually, and it absolutely has, like, it's a horrid thing to 100% this game. You have to do a bunch of side quests, fetch quests and stuff like that. You have to go through different levels to find figurines for people, and so you may see that one path looks a lot safer than the other that I'm going down, and there's a reason why I'm not going down to that path, and that's because that is going to bring me to a side quest accepting part, and that includes dialogue, and that's like 15-20 seconds of dialogue that I have to skip through. So there are a few instances where I've accidentally entered the side quest part, and it's super annoying when you do, because you lose like 20 seconds for no reason. So right now the game's just teaching us the last basic that we're going to be learning. The game does a really good job of teaching you its mechanics every once in a while. And so it's teaching us how to kick. So we already knew how to slide and how to jump, and now it's teaching us how to kick. And these are the 3 buttons that I'm going to be using throughout the entire course of the run. The B button, the Y button, and the down button. For the most part. There are a few more. But yeah, so you saw there I dodged a figurine. Again, that saves time because I won't have to look at the cutscene saying that I got the figurine afterwards. There we go. And yeah, by the way, we are playing as Command Girl because you guys donated for it. Thank you everybody who donated for the bid war. I was actually hoping that this one would... fun fact, like, they don't have any difference. There's no difference between the categories or anything like that, between what character you play as. However, the only difference is that Command Girl, in my opinion, I'm colorblind for those who don't know, and Command Girl actually blends in with the background more, so that it might end up to me dying in stupid places because I just can't see where I'm going. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but it can happen. Also, these trampolines that you're seeing here, if you saw what I did there, I did a ground pound thud there. Or I just called them ground pound, so I'm just gonna call them that from now on, but I did a ground pound there on the trampoline, and it actually gave me a little bit more distance. I forgot to do it the first 2 times, but it is a small time save. It saves like half a frame each time I do it. So this game is very optimized in the fact that we're trying to save frames instead of minutes or anything like that. So, and just optimizing as little deaths as we can. So getting as little deaths and saving as much time as we can on stuff like that, where we can get a farther launch is better, and that speeds up that section a little bit more.
For cheddar,
oh god. All right, so I think the hardest part of running this game is remembering the overworld movement, because you have to remember how many levels and spaces there are between each level, and that's a little bit hard for me to wrap my head around. Sometimes I just hold right or left until I get to the level I want, and then yeah, usually whenever I hear Charles Martinet speak, that's when I know it's going to be fine. So yeah, like I said, we won't be seeing any unique or like really advanced movement techniques until we get to until we get to I think it's like the 7th or 8th level, where we start seeing like big time saves. Other than not dying, obviously. But this is one of the hardest levels at the beginning of the run. This is a very big reset point, for me at least, because this is our first cart level, and this is where the levels start going really quickly. So it starts getting a little bit more hard to see what I'm doing. And this run requires a lot of focus. Obviously, it's a rhythm-based game, so we have to make sure that we keep up with the rhythm of the game. Alright, so there is one other thing I didn't mention, and I talked about trying to ground pound the least amount possible. I talked about the fact that we try to stay for a second on the ground before we slide so we don't accidentally ground pound, but I didn't mention that you can jump while you're sliding, and that's something they don't teach you until later. However, it's something very important, and it saves time, because if there's a bunch of spaces in between where we need to do slides and jumps alternatively, we can just do a bunch of slide jumps instead of having to worry about the ground pounds. Right. This part's a little hard. It's hard to tell which ones are flying and which ones aren't, so I'm just trying to make sure I focus here so I don't die. Dying there is like the most like crucial death, especially this part right here. Sometimes it's hard to see that guy, especially when you're playing in this level. For someone who's colorblind like me, it's hard to see that part, and it's very painful to die there. It's like a good minute time loss. But there we go, that's that level finish. And now we move on to the fun part of the run. After that, I think once we get out of World 1, it'll pick up the pace a lot, but trust me, this run gets very interesting when it gets to the hard parts of this run. This game is known to be relatively very difficult, far more difficult than the other runner games, so definitely a step up in the difficulty working if you want to do that. So, but yeah, it's very it's definitely a hard game, and it'll show in the final boss. I think the final boss is like one of the coolest sections of the run to show off. Alright, so this is a pretty easy level. Fun little optimization here is that if you don't step on the right side of these raising and lowering platforms, they won't raise or lower. So you gotta make sure you step on the right side. But if we skip having to jump on them like this, we can get a higher jump off it. And obviously if you're climbing uphill, it's faster to jump up it than to just run up it. So we're going to be trying to do that as much as possible. Alright, also this music is very quirky and weird, but I love it. Alright, do a nice little slide jump there on the bounce pad. But like I said, the bounce pads, if you ground pound on them, you get, they launch you farther and higher and faster. So it is actually better to ground pound there. That's the only case where it's better to ground pound is onto the bounce pads, because you don't get stunned. So it doesn't change anything. It actually makes you go a little bit farther. Alright, and these little rockets, I'll show it off here. If you ground pound them, they just put little fireworks there, and it increases your score by a little bit, but that doesn't matter for any percent. Even in 100%, it doesn't matter. Like I said, they will come into play later. We will have to do them. We will have to hit some fireworks later. Alright, there we go. That's a very hard ground pound to get off. I'm glad I got that. Saved 2 frames there. Also, that evil-looking milk jug at the back, I just like showing that off and announcing it. So, the game's teaching us now about double jumping, and like I said, even when you double jump, you can also double jump with a float to it, so we're gonna try not to do that. And there you go, you can see how much height we got from that and how much distance we got from that floaty jump there. Alright, very good. I golded that level. Like I said, even golding by like a frame or two in this game means the world, because this game, for levels that I don't have depths in, it's very high optimization. Yes, so this game is part of the Bit Trip Runner series. The only Bit Trip Runner game that was called Bit Trip Runner was the first one. It was Bit Trip Runner, and then the second one had such a long name that they just went with Runner3 this time around. But they called it like Runner2 Future of Rhythm Alien or whatever it is. So this is where like the big skips come in. So I did mention that floaty jumps are not what we like to see. However, springs that we are getting introduced to right here are even worse. Springs slow down your movement so much that it's actually better if we can just double jump over the gaps, which for the most part, we can double jump over all the gaps that the springs make us jump over. So it's actually faster to use springs as less as possible. Even if it means doing floaty jumps to cross the gaps. And some of the gaps are really cool jumps that we'll be seeing, and some of the coolest tricks. And this is like the only thing I would consider. It's not like a glitch or anything like that, but it's like one of the only things that the developers don't want you to do, because they want you to use all of these things that they teach you to do. But the gaps are perfectly spaced out so that it seems like it's kind of like they meant for it to happen, because like some of the jumps are perfectly spaced out for a double jump. It just seems a little absurd that if they weren't intending for that to happen. But I don't know, I think it's just like a mastery of skill. This game is very, once you first play this game, it's actually really difficult, but after you play it a few times, you start getting the hang of the mechanics, and you try going for skips and stuff like that. And right here, this is really cool. We're gonna do 3 spring skips in a row, and then do a slide bounce on there, and that was really hard, so I'm glad I got that. That's a very common death area for me, is those water jumps there. Alright, right here we have to do this jump. But yeah, these jumps are a lot tighter than they may look. This jump specifically is really hard, jumping on onto that moving board as it's coming towards me. That was close. I cut that one close. But yeah, for the most part, you have a good window to jump through to cross those gaps. But It's definitely harder than it looks. If you've never seen this game, skipping some of the springs, definitely a little bit harder than it may seem. So we're almost to the end of World 1. Like I said, there's 10 levels per world. Technically 9 levels and then 1 boss fight, so... You have no rhythm. Well, I mean, it depends. I love rhythm games. Games like Thumper, Runner3. What are some other good ones? I really like the Runner games. I played the second one on Wii U. I never played the first one, and then I got this like day one on Switch. I'm just surprised it didn't gain as much popularity as some people as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more popular than it was, but it actually turned out not to be. So right here we get into this sort of game mechanic that we already knew about, but we didn't really talk much about it. By the way, really hard double jump coming up here. That one right there is actually really difficult. So it's actually faster to not switch lanes. Again, it saves like a frame each time we do it. So we're gonna stay in one lane this entire time, which isn't hard to do, but some people, like casual players, switch lanes there to get all the gold pieces. So also bouncing on these jello pieces are definitely slow, because again, we like staying in the air and keeping your floaty jumps to a minimum is definitely key for this game. So we're gonna try to do that as much as possible, and the jello makes you do floaty jumps, so we're gonna try not to do that. Also, I just love the environments in each level. Every level in this game feels really distinct. Alright, so right here we're gonna do these. Those springs, by the way, are very wonky sometimes. Their hitboxes can be off. You can feel like you're hitting the spring, but you end up not doing it. And even if you press the button a frame late or early, left or right, whichever way the spring is telling you to press, it can wind up in having you smashing your face into the wall, which is very upsetting. Alright, so again, we're gonna go ahead and do this. Alright, so, and now we get to the part of the game where it's actually 3D movement, which this part is pretty hard to optimize. There's no real way to do to speed this up except for not collecting that figurine over there and trying to not die. By the way, these walls on the side here that you see, the walls that were keeping us in line. Even if you touch any walls whatsoever during the 3D segments, it will kill you. So it's very finicky, that part there. Alright, so we have one more actual level for World 1, and like I said, when we get past World 1, it's where the game starts really picking up in difficulty, and it gets more interesting as well, because there's more spring skips and stuff like that, because we saw a few of them in that level, but that level was where they introduced springs, so we're not going to see them very often from now on, but there are some really cool ones that come up later. And I'm pretty sure this is the level that actually teaches you how to double jump. Yeah, so this is the level that teaches you how to floaty double jump, like we've been doing to skip the springs. So this is where you would learn how to skip the springs if you didn't know how to already. But they never actually teach you that you can skip the springs, because they want you to use them because they're evil masterminds, haha. But because I played this game before, I know what to do. Alright. And this level forces you to grab a majority of the stereo systems. As long as we don't grab all 4, we should be fine, and as long as we don't die after collecting them. Also, you can skip that spring, but it's a little not marathon safe, so I didn't. You can just make a blind jump, and it's a little scary because you can die afterwards during that blind jump, because you can't see where you're going. Obviously, that's a blind jump, and that's what it means. But yeah, this level is where the difficulty actually starts getting to pick up. This is where casual players will start dying more and more often, and this is where, in my opinion, the run gets more impressive. The first few levels, it's like, oh, he's just playing it, maybe saving a few seconds here and there. There's nothing that big of a deal. Now, when you see like some of the levels and how crazy they get, you'll be... I like to say it's kind of impressive, especially when you get to like how fast-paced some of the levels get. It's really cool seeing someone who knows the game like the back of his hand. Alright, and again, we're trying to go up and down as much as possible, changing direction, because each time we do, say it's like 1 frame or 2 frames. Alright. So yeah, and I mentioned this before, but the biggest time save is obviously not dying, dying less and less. And I did mention this before as well. In my opinion, this is the hardest of the runner games. So, oh no, it's so, that's bad. I just experienced a glitch in this game, so this run's not valid anymore for this marathon. If you jump before you enter that tractor beam, I'm not going to count that towards the death count. Actually, you know what? Fine, I will. But basically, there's a one possibility. I like to spam jump during this cutscene, and if you jump too early, there's like a 1 frame or like a few frames in that cutscene that the game allows you to jump, but it won't let you go in the tractor beam. So it stopped me from getting in there, which is really stupid, and that lost a lot of time. So there goes that. I think the world record might be dead. Just kidding. World record's not dead, but like, that's very unfortunate. It happened during my first run as well. So this is our first boss, and I know there's going to be a bunch of Craigasms in chat because we are going to be fighting Sausage Santa. And I love this boss so much. All the bosses in this game are very unique, and this one's really cool. The bosses are like a main area where we can save a lot of time just from optimization. So this is Sausage Santa. We have to shoot sausages in his face. Get them Kappa Prides in chat, please. So we have to catch these sausages in our vacuum, and the sooner we catch it, we can double jump in this, by the way. So we're gonna try to. It is random where they show up, and basically it's kind of weird how the cannon shoots in our vehicle here, but you get used to it the more you play the game. And that's the first phase. He has 3 phases. You have to hit him 3 times each phase, and he shoots faster each phase, so we got to worry about that. And we have to make sure he doesn't destroy the platforms we're on. And so yeah, we're trying to double jump into the sausages so that we can stop them from falling down and get them faster. There we go, good. Just want to make sure I don't get hit. If you get hit by those missiles, you'll get sent back to the beginning of whichever phase you're on, so that's not good. There we go. And then we have to worry about this gap, but thankfully it'll get cleared. Alright, checkpoint. And now we have the last phase, and then we'll be done World 1. And again, like I said, World 1 is kind of the baby section of the run. Once we actually get out of World 1, like, the run's gonna get more fast-paced, get more interesting, we're gonna be dying a lot more. Trust me, it's gonna be a lot more fun and cool of a game. And the music gets better, in my opinion, too. Alright. There we go. So I had to do a mid-air shot there, which is really hard to do, so I saved that pretty good. And there we go. That food. And now, because Halloween's in 2 months, it's close enough. We're gonna be going to Spooky Land. Ooh, Manga S. I love looking at Chad during this, and it's just a bunch of Craigasms and Kappa Prides. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so this is a very difficult level. Like I said, this is where the game really starts to ramp up in difficulty. The game has a very sharp difficulty curve, and it's very obvious. Like you'll see here, they're throwing so much more at us now than they did in World 1. There's a lot more we can do. There's actually if I think correctly, there's a few spring skips we can do here that we have to make sure we try. Okay, so I tried to do a frame perfect jump there, and it wasn't worth it. That's 3 deaths. I tried to do a frame perfect jump over that eyeball so that I wouldn't have to slide. It doesn't save any time. It's all for the swag, and it wasn't worth it. So just want to point that out here. Here's the spring skip. That saves a second. There we go. And yeah, you can see that they're throwing a lot more at us now than they did before, so this is where the run starts getting a lot more difficult. Okay, I tried to slide under that mega, but it's fine. Alright, so hopefully we don't die again. Also, the moon's looking at us. I love all the background details in this game. It has a lot of them, so... Alright, so we're gonna not go... there's 2 paths here. We're not gonna go to the top path, because I don't know about you guys, but springs, not my favorite part of the game. They're actually my least favorite part, so... I'm gonna try to avoid them as much as possible. Alright. And yeah, like I said, the music here is like, it gets way better than World 1. Again, World 1 is more of the tutorial world. It's supposed to be easy, but you can tell that they're kind of speeding up the levels. They're making them more difficult, more demanding. They're more about memory and knowing how to play the game. So it's definitely a difficulty curve, and that's a downside to the run, in my opinion, is how big the difficulty curve is. So right here we're gonna get in a pop can. I don't know about you guys, but this happened all the time when I was a kid. Just open up a pop can and it explodes in your face, and you start riding it to Mars, because why wouldn't you? So if we stay at the top or bottom of the screen here, you can dodge all these guys, and they don't even pose a threat. So we're just going to do that, and I did it for too long. So yeah, shows how stupid I can be sometimes when I'm trying to commentate a run. Again, you're always going to have deaths. I just didn't think they would happen this frequent. But again, this game is hard, but these are not the hard levels, so hopefully I stop being stupid and I stop making these dumb mistakes. Yeah, so after this stereo system right here, I just want to go down to around here, to the middle, where I'll dodge all of these guys. There we go. And then I want to go here in the middle, and then go to the bottom. There we go. So I'm going to lose a lot of time here because of those deaths. Again, this is not usually a level where I die in, so... oh my god, that was weird. So that was an instance where even, like, basically my hitbox for the character is from my feet to my head. And you may be like, yeah, of course it is. But, like, when you speedrun games like Celeste, where you have, like, a small hitbox on your character that you're used to, this game is a little bit weird. So even your little toes, if you stub your toe even a little bit, the run will actually, like... It's really annoying to get killed by just stubbing your toe on a wooden plank every now and then. Alright. So now we're moving on to the second level. Like I said, this shows what you're in for when you get to World 2. 2 onwards is where things start getting very difficult. So yeah, so this, like I said, each world is based off of something. The first world was based off of food and delicacies and stuff like that. And then, obviously, the second world, which we're in right now, is more based off of, like, horror and stuff like that. Ooh, and then the third world is going to be more of a steampunk area, which is really cool. And I gotta give a shout out to the game's music and composers. It's, in my opinion, what carries this game and the Runner series. Obviously, it's a rhythm game, so that's what it's going for. But I don't think people recognize it as much as they should, how good the soundtrack in this game really is sometimes. Optional spring that we're going to skip, by the way. But yeah, the music in this game is really good, as well as the graphics in this game, pretty good as well. It's not what a lot of people go for and what a lot of people like in their games, but I personally think it has a unique charm to it, like a kind of like a kid's storybook or something like that. So, alright, so right here we're getting introduced to planks that can't be kicked from the bottom. We got introduced to planks earlier that we can just kick anywhere, but now we have to do double jumps, and we have to kick at the peak of our double jump, and those are probably the hardest jumps in the game. They don't make us do it very often, but when they do, it's actually pretty difficult. So right here we have 2 spring skips. The first one's not so bad. This one's a little bit more tight, so let's see if I get it. Okay, that one's really hard to do. You saw that there was a crystal coming out of that pit there. Even if I hit the tip of that crystal, it would have sent me back to the checkpoint, and that's a very far checkpoint to go back to, so it's a good thing I didn't die there. Again, it really depends on how much time you're going to lose from deaths. It depends on how big the death is. Thankfully, a lot of the deaths in this game aren't that punishing, but there are a few really punishing deaths that we've actually already seen. I've took a few bad deaths here and there already. Alright, so this is where we get to the speed boosters, and the speed boosters are where the run gets really intense. We get to dodge a lot of stuff at full speed. It's very difficult, so... Alright. There we go. Death from a toe stub is actually the worst. But yeah, like, the Bitrip Runner people, like Command Girl and Commander Video, I don't know what's with them. I feel like they're, like, everybody has, like, a weakness and stuff like that, but I guess their weakness are their feet. Like, for some reason. Alright, so now we're moving into this level next, the Gibbering Cliffs. We've been doing a lot of, ever since the springs were introduced, we've been doing a lot of spring skips. You may be noticing that I'm actually doing a, jumping off a couple springs on purpose, and the reason is because some levels are impossible to do spring skips on. I've done it a few times, and it's kind of obvious when I have to do it. But yeah, there are a few times where we can skip springs and when we can't. So another part of this run is knowing when and when not to do those. Alright, so this world also does something really stupid, and it alters the camera a lot, which is very hard to handle when the camera is spinning and you're also trying to platform. So for the most part, trying to keep track of the camera is the hardest part, and the camera follows the character and you can't really do anything about it, but for the most part I'm just going to try to make sure I keep my eye on my character no matter where he goes. Like this part right here is what I'm specifically talking about, where the camera spins around, does a 180, and it's really annoying. Right here it would be faster to skip that spring by doing a double jump, which we're going to do right here, and you see the camera gets a little messed up because they don't expect us to skip that spring. But some springs are actually faster to grab, like I said. Like that one spring I grabbed, it was so that we could skip that figurine, so we wouldn't get that one cutscene after the level, which overall saves time. So. Also, this part of the level is pretty difficult, where we have to dodge like a lot of stuff in a row. Again, World 2 really picks up the difficulty from World 1, where we're going to have to dodge a lot more stuff, and they're going to throw more at us than we expected. So it really plays with your expectations. It's like, oh, this game is pretty easy so far, and then it gets really hard. By World 3, like, my casual playthrough had so many deaths. This is a very tight jump there to skip that spring, but I got it, so that's pretty good. Again, there's been some high points and low points of this run already. I can already tell. I mean, it's a marathon. What do you expect? And there we go, deathless. Anytime you get a run a level deathless, it's always nice. And there we go, nice gold there on that level too. Those spring skips went really well. I always end up messing up at least one of them, so I'm glad none of them got messed up for me that time. Alright, so this part is, in my opinion, the most nightmare-fueled part of the run. This level is called Doll Hollow, so there's going to be a bunch of dead baby dolls scattered around, and I actually hate this level. This level, this is like one of the creepiest levels, in my opinion, in this game. Obviously, it's called Spooky Land, so it's supposed to be scary, but this is like the creepiest level to me. Alright, and yeah, for the most part we're trying to minimize our floaty jumps as possible, and sorry if you hear background noise, my mother is coming into the house, so you might hear a dog or two, we'll see. Alright, so yeah, you see like dead decapitated baby dolls over there, it's really creepy. Alright, we're gonna do some floaty jumps here. There we go. Or not floaty jumps, just a normal double jump, so we don't have to do a floaty jump. Like I said, we're trying to avoid doing them as much as possible, is what I meant to say. So here we go, we're gonna go ahead and, for the most part, this level doesn't have any skips. We're just gonna be trying to platform everything. But yeah, that one right there, that's like twitching around, that's the worst. The creepiest one in my opinion. That part right, where the foreground actually clips what you can see. I hate that because it takes away my visuals for a second, so I can't see that jump I have to make, which is really annoying. Okay, so right here I gotta get the spring jump, and spring jumps are really hard when you first get used to them, but after a bit of practice, they're pretty easy. It's just because you have to press up and B, or whatever direction they are, and like I said, it's really weird. And right there I took a death. Like I said, that's due to the camera spinning and not showing me what's coming up, and it's very annoying. It's really annoying that the game doesn't like give you a heads up there, so I'll take that death for the team. I think that's 5 already, so gotta get that money for charity. Alright. Also, that platform right there that the checkpoint was on, yes, that does count as a platform that can kill you. So if you stub your foot on that, well, you're going back to the other checkpoint. Sorry to say. I'm gonna avoid this stereo box because I can't remember if I got the other 3 already. That's the one trophy I got right there. That's the one trophy that is mandatory for this run. The game forces it on you, so we had to grab it there, sadly. So we are gonna lose a second here, but it's not really losing a second because the game makes you do it every time, so. And there we go. That's that level. Pretty good level so far. Even though we took that death, I often take that death, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so yeah, the baby dolls in that level are creepy, but now we get to the more less creepy parts of the levels. Coming up later is a level that I actually really enjoy. It's called the Wording Way, which is the next one after this, and that level is based off of letters, and you're like jumping on letters that spell things, and it's really cool. Alright, so now we get to 2-5, which is going to be our halfway point for World 2, and this will be like our halfway point for the entirety of the run, so this is definitely one of the hardest levels, in my opinion, in World 2, if I'm remembering correctly at least. This is where they speed you up a lot, and you have to do a lot of tight jumps when you're going really, really fast. So I hope I don't take a death here. That'd be very nice if I could avoid that. I've been taking some stupid deaths, but seeming to get the hard stuff first try, so hopefully, then again, that's marathon luck, but hopefully it stays that way. I would like to get this level done deathless. Again, if it's the level I'm thinking of. I can't remember if it is or not. There we go. Again, trying to... a lot of this run is remembering to do short hops as much as you can, which I'm trying to do. Alright, there we go. Do a double jump here. Yeah, so it is this level that I'm thinking of. You can see in the background that Spooky Land is actually an amusement park. Fun fact. Alright, so we're going to do some up and downs here to save a few frames. It saves a little bit less time if you do it on the bottom of the screen, but that's the only safe place we have right now, and we have this blue force field, which means that it's going to speed up. Alright. So this part's not that bad, but it's when we get to the later part. There we go. Now we get to the checkpoint. Again, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right part, the right level. There we go. Alright, yeah, I think this is the part here. Alright, there we go. We could skip that spring, but it's actually faster to grab that spring because we have so much speed anyways. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is the part right here. So right here, we're going extremely fast. This is 4 boosts in a row, and they introduce these soldiers here that we're going to have to fight. So basically, you have to either jump over them, slide under them, or kick them to defeat them. And this part right here, this is like one of the hardest parts of the run. In my opinion, this is the hardest level in World 2, just because of your speed there. It's huge, and you have a very like rough window to work around there. That was a very good level. Getting that deathless means the world, so that's a very good gold there. That's a very hard level, and in my opinion, one of the hardest levels in the run because of how fast you're going throughout that entire thing, and you have to dodge all that stuff, do a bunch of like really quick double jumps, and then immediately slides after. It's very hard. So, all right, there we go. So now we move on to kind of a more relaxing level after 2-5. We're on to 2-6, which as I mentioned, it's the Wording Way, which is the one based on the levels. So this is like where I always like to see how often I can look in the background and see some words and read them off during my run. Again, this game does require focus, but I like having a little bit of fun here. But the first time I read this, I thought it said rib cage there, but I accidentally read that wrong, and it said ripple, and then dry here. Alright, so right here we're going to do a jump, and we're going to try not to do as much floating as we can, so dropping down as soon as possible. Alright, very good first checkpoint there. I didn't mention this at all, but when you're dropping down, it's actually faster to be sliding, but like I said, if you jump and then slide, you do a ground pound. So we don't do that very often, but when we can, we do slide. We slide down to the bottom like that off a ledge, and it doesn't count as a ground pound. So small optimizations again. All right, and now, oh, sorry about that. All right, again, just trying to jump over these enemies, and it may seem like it's easy to jump over these like one jump enemies, but it's actually pretty hard because these enemies have really weird hitboxes where their spikes sometimes poke out to the sides a little more than you'd expect, so we have to worry about that. Alright. And gotta get these Shakespeare heads in here. This is kind of alluding to what the boss is going to be. Again, they alluded to what the boss is going to be because there's a bunch of sausages in World 1 near the end, and they're kind of alluding to what the boss is going to be this time. In my opinion, this game has one of the coolest bosses in the entire like Runner series in general, and it's this world. This world, if there's one good thing this world has, in my opinion, World 2 is my least favorite world, but it has something really cool, which is the final boss of this world, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Alright, another forced spring on us there that we have to use. This right here we can actually drop down pretty quickly there, so we don't have to float too much. And there we go, that's that level. Like I said, it's a very tame level compared to the other one, so there we go. Alright, so we're getting to the end of World 2. There's 3 more levels and then the boss. Oh, whoops, I have to do one more. Like I said, I am bad at remembering the overworld movement. Like I said, this is a generally new speed game. This game came out about a year ago today, like about a year and 2 months ago it came out. It came out in May 18, and again, it's just been a very overlooked game. And people used to run Runner 2. There's actually a couple people on the leaderboard for Runner 2, but I was really weirdly shocked to see that there was nobody on the leaderboard for Runner 3, and there was no leaderboard for Runner 3. I actually had to make the leaderboard myself and submit it, so... this is an interesting level here. We're riding this caterpillar, and this caterpillar speeds up your movement, so it's really weird, and very difficult if you've never seen it, so, or if you're not used to fast movement at that point. Alright, so again, these robots are going to be part of, like, one of the last things they introduced. That's, like, one of the newest things that they do, is, add in those robots, so hopefully we don't die to them, because later on they get a little bit hard and unpredictable of what they can do. They are predetermined, but again, I'm not like, it's not like I memorized their movements or anything like that, so I don't know exactly what to do at what time, so. Alright, so right here, this jump is a little tight, and that's a normal jump. Like, that's not even a jump to skip anything. That's a normal jump that the game expects you to do, and I find that weird because it's pretty tight overall. Okay, I don't know what happened there. That was really weird. I pressed the Y button, and the game just... Oh, I know why. So this game has a dance button, where you can dance throughout the entirety of the run. I haven't been doing it because, again, it's not needed. This is also a very hard jump. That book can hit you on the way down if you're not careful, so getting that jump is really difficult. But my slide input got taken over by the dance input, so that was a little unfortunate. Okay, and that's also very stupid. Thankfully, they put a checkpoint right here, because that's a very unfair point. They put you right in front of that guy. Do a slide bounce here, so we can jump over this. There we go, nice. Very good. This is a very hard part of the level where they throw a lot at you, just jump after jump. There we go. But then, again here, just a little bit of difficulty. Make sure you keep sliding there so you don't have to worry about the ground pounds. Alright, there we go. Getting through that level is a pretty good relief. Again, that's a very difficult level. Nice. That's 6 deaths now. Well, 7, yeah. 7 after the 1. Again, that one, I feel like that one was just mean by the developers. I feel like they intended for you to die there. Alright, 2-8. So like I said, each level each world has 9 levels, and also has 1 boss. So we have 2 more levels of World 2, and then 1 more, and then the boss. Which, like I said, the boss is really cool. I want to keep stating that the boss is probably the most unique boss I've ever seen in a game of this caliber. So, again, this is another forced upon us spring that we had to use. All right, so for the most part, you can use your control stick here if you want to move this car left and right, but you could just stay in the middle and avoid all of that. And yeah, like I said, those are 3D sections, so you can move anywhere throughout that track with the control stick. And I normally run this game on D-pad, just because you mainly only have to worry about pressing down for this run, and up and left and right very not so often. So I like using the D-pad, but when it comes to the 3D sections of this game, I do use my analog stick on my controller. And this game is out for, I think, all the current generation systems, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. But currently there's no actual version that's fastest. I just run on Switch because I personally like the Switch better as a console as a whole. So, and along with that, we also have an in-game time as well. So while we do depend on who gets the world record, depends on their RTA, we also ask for the in-game time on the leaderboards, which you can check afterwards, which we're gonna do for this run to show what I got. All right, so quick little skip here. It's really easy, just a simple double jump there. All right, gotta do a slide under this guy now, so gotta worry about that. So this is where they start the robots here actually start doing 3 inputs now, so we have to worry about that instead of doing just 2. All right, there we go. And it'll always end in a kick, by the way. So whenever you you know to do a kick for the last one. And that's that level. Deathless. Gotta love seeing that. Deathless is always what you want to see on these levels. All right, last level before the final boss of World 2. Oh, whoops. That's bad. So I accidentally entered a level because I pressed up. I was holding up. So that was my issue. So now I have to go back. Oh, what? Okay. I'm very confused on what happened there.
Spooky Land.
I think that was a glitch because I pressed back and it brought me to the title screen. That was weird. It shouldn't have. The game got confused there, I guess, because I've never seen that happen before. And now we have to run all the way back. Wonderful. I love time losses like this. Oh my god, go, please.
The vestibule.
There we go. This is one I wanted to hit. Oh my god. That's a big time loss. We just lost like a minute or so. Alright. I don't know what happened there. That was really weird. We accidentally went into a bonus level by mistake. Or attempted to go into a bonus level. So I don't know what actually happened. We didn't have the stuff in order to enter the bonus level, so maybe the game just booted us out to the main menu. I don't know. That's never happened to me before. I had never accidentally entered there before. But anyhow, this is the final level of World 2 before the final boss, or before the boss. I shouldn't say final boss. We have some cool skips here. We're going to be going into a mansion, and that's where the boss is going to be. Again, this game has really cool progression because when you enter a building, you stay in there for the next level, and I find that really cool. It's like, it's good continuation. Alright, there we go. So yeah, that was really weird. I've never seen something like that happen before. Again, that's the issue of running this game. Sometimes you'll enter the wrong stage because your controller, you hold up on the D-pad like I did. Yeah, we lost like 30 to maybe 40 seconds there, so that's upsetting, and that's like a big time loss. That's worse than dying, in my opinion. Alright, there we go. So, you may see in the background that there are some statues there. Or are they statues? Ooh, But yeah, this is a really cool atmospheric level, in my opinion. Looks really awesome. Alright, now these jumps are a little weird, doing without the springs help there, but again, skipping the springs is worth it, so we're gonna do that instead. Alright, this is hard to do because you have to jump there and then slide right after, so thankfully we didn't die there. That's a really easy place to die. And isn't that nice? They put a little platform there for him to land so he doesn't die. That jump right there is actually impossible to do without the spring. I have made mistakes and tried to go for a spring skip. It's actually impossible, so don't go for it. And there we go. So yeah, we're losing like 40 seconds here, which is unfortunate. Don't tell us this is supposed to be glitchless. We've already seen one glitch by mistake, and it was almost a soft lock, so it's not like it's glitchless, but like it's not intended glitches, okay? All right, so this is what I call the Founding Fathers boss fight, because it's basically like you're fighting old patriarchs, and it's really cool. I love this boss. In my opinion, it's the coolest boss in this game. One of the most memorable parts of this boss. And each boss, there's 3 different bosses here in this fight that we have to do, 1 per phase. This one's all about platforming. So this, like, they do have weak points, yes, and they have different weak points. So we have to notice which weak points there are. So this one, we just have to jump in like this, and there we go. And now this one, his weak point is going to be on his hammer. We're gonna have to kick his hammer that he has. So again, we have to do a full circle in order to do it. So we're gonna wait for that. But yeah, this is just a really cool boss. The way it looks and the way you actually take them out. In my opinion, it's one of the most memorable parts of this game. And this guy is the coolest and the most original way to defeat him. He has spikes on the top of his hammer, so he can't jump on it. But he has an interesting way of defeating him. He's going to pound on this book here, going to ground pound it, and there we go. Really cool boss fight, in my opinion. One of the coolest boss fights in this entire game. And there we go. So now we're moving on to the last world of this game. Now, just letting you know, just because this is the last world doesn't mean that the boss of this world is the final boss. There's actually World 3's boss, and then you go to a different planet for the final boss. So just letting time know that that won't be what happens for time. Don't get ready on there. So yeah, we still have a good like half hour or so of this run. This is the last world, Machine Land, and this is where difficulty, like I said, the difficulty spikes between worlds is crazy, and you're gonna see it here. It gets really intense. This is the part of the run where I really need to focus. Wreck the Halls isn't that bad, but trust me, the levels get really difficult later into World 3. Obviously, it's the last world, so they're supposed to be difficult, but it's unnecessarily hard sometimes. They ask a lot of you later into the game. And in my opinion, this is more of a rage game than a rhythm game sometimes. It's definitely very difficult, though, and I definitely suggest buying this game for anybody who is curious about it. Definitely get into speedrunning it as well. It's a very easy game to get into, very easy to get your first run going, and it's very easy to improve your run. Obviously, like, you could go for these small time saves like I'm going for, or you could just try not to die as much as possible, and you'll be saving time each run. Like, it's a very unique speed game, and there isn't a Discord for it, but I'm always open on Discord. You can message me about running any of the run games or the runner games. I'm happy to help you get into it. And yeah, so that's my little pitch right there. This game is very, very beautiful. It sounds great. It has a very interesting, distinct feel to it as well. So there's my pitch meeting right there. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the only person who runs it. Again, like, there's a couple games that people just don't run. And in my opinion, this game just got overlooked in general from the general public. So I feel like if more people see this game, they'll have more of a reason to check it out. But yeah, anyhow, this is, now we're in a bowling ball. I didn't mention this. This level is pretty easy. Has no strats to it or anything like that, so that's why I was talking over it, because there's not really much to it, except now we're doing this rolling section, which we actually have to control. And we got a strike. There we go. Easy. It actually forces you to get a strike. So there we go. There's that level done. So yeah, World 3, the levels are, each level in this game goes from 2 to 3 minutes-ish, give or take. But depending on if I die a lot, it could take 4-ish minutes per level. Yeah, exactly. Some people don't even know that this game exists, and like, I think that this game, it deserves more appeal than it's gotten. Definitely a, like, I wouldn't say it's the best runner game out there. I still think Runner 2 is above it, but it's definitely a really fun game and a very interesting run. And again, people write off auto runner games being like, oh, they're not good speed games. Like, how do you speed up an auto scroller, and the whole run is an auto scroller, how do you speed it up? Like, I've shown you guys like 10 different ways that you can improve frames in this game, and knowing this game and how much it's gone through since, like, I learned this game maybe like 2 months ago. I got this run onto the leaderboards. No, I think 3 runs ago. I got this run onto the leaderboards, and like, we've been learning a new thing every week since then. Like, it's been crazy. This game has had a lot of optimization over the past few weeks. So much so that I wouldn't be surprised that if, like, in a few weeks, like, this run gets down even lower. Like, the current world record is currently just barely under a sub 130 run, which is I think it's a 129.02 by me. But it can easily go to like a sub 125, like, definitely. And I was going to mention this earlier, but that estimate is very high for me. That's currently on screen. I think when I submitted this game to No Glitches Allowed, by the way, thank you for accepting this to No Glitches Allowed, to the staff, because this is the first time ever this game's been in a marathon, and it definitely will benefit from it because we get to show it off to more people, and give it more attention. But back when I submitted this, my PB was like a 140 something, so definitely has a high estimate. I would probably give my estimate now like to be like a 135 nowadays, but again, that's because I didn't know how optimized this game would get until then. That's a very tough spring skip, by the way. That's like, you have like a few seconds there to get the second, like a second or two to get the second double jump in there, or else it won't count, and you won't make the platform. So I'm glad I was able to make it there. Yeah, I hold the world record for this game. Again, I'm the only person who runs the game, so holding the world record really isn't that big of a deal. But hopefully this run will, and I'm also possibly going to be running this in CAL FIRE as well. I'm going to be submitting this to GDQ 2020. I'm hoping that this will motivate other people who maybe own the game or have a Switch or have PC that can pick up the game. Give it a chance, give it a shot, and do some runs and try to get the world record from me. Because let me put it this way, the world record is in no way optimized. I have a lot of deaths in the world record. I think I have like, I think I said like my best run ever was like 4 deaths or something like that, and they were all near the end. So like the run has a lot of optimizations. Oh, that was stupid. Nice input lag there. But the run has a lot of optimization to go, so you can have the world record if you guys put in the time for it and have a passion for this game. I would definitely love some competition. And I'm going to be straying away from any percent for a while, considering the fact that I do want to start making the leaderboards for more populated for other categories. Currently, it's just any percent up on the leaderboard right now, but I want to make like all gold pieces a category. I want to make all gold pieces and gems, obviously 100% a category. I want to run all these categories and make them a thing, so that the leaderboard doesn't look so bland right now. But yeah, that's kind of the history of this game, is that I thought this game deserved more, deserved to be on speedrun.com, and so I pushed for it to be on speedrun.com, and now it's on speedrun.com, so there you go. Also, I try to do, again, that's the issue of me not knowing when not to do spring skips. You're not supposed to do one there. You're not even allowed to. And it's not possible to, so I don't know why I went for it. Again, it's just me being a forgetful person. And plus, I'm also doing commentary, so. I was actually going to have a friend on, but I think it's better that I'm doing this commentary by myself, because not many people, again, like I said, not many people know about this game, and it's a little upsetting about that, but that's how it is, I guess. It's just a game that never got the popularity. I think at the same time that this game came out, stuff like Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition came out on Switch. It just got overlooked, and then other consoles just weren't paying much attention to it whatsoever, because not many people knew about this game series. So we just lost like 40 seconds, by the way. This is a big death that I had there. That's very upsetting. So yeah, we lost a lot of time there. So yeah, I think world record might be dead. I was hoping we could get world this run, considering the fact that I was actually a minute and a half ahead after no-deathing one of the levels. But because the game ate my inputs on that spring a little bit ago, what the frick, man? It ate my input again. I hate this. That's stupid. Again, that's the point of maybe it's just this controller that's worn out, but this game seems to eat inputs every once in a while, and it's really annoying. So, yeah, that's a little upsetting. Anyhow, this level is very annoying. They throw a lot at you here. You can see the difficulty curve, like I said, from World 2 to World 3. And definitely you can see the difficulty curve from World 1 to World 3. Alright, there we go. That right there, though, that chain right there of movements is very difficult. Well, whatever. We're getting that money for charity for deaths, so whatever. There we go. Oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so this is what I meant. This is the one that I often accidentally go to. Okay, world record is definitely dead now. I accidentally went to side quest area there, and that just lost another 30 seconds. So everybody say bye to world record. We're not gonna get it this run unless we like gold 7 splits or something like that. Oh well. Wow, that was a horrible level. There's always one level that gives people a lot of trouble. I think that's my level. That one or 2-5. And since we went through 2-5 with no issues whatsoever, obviously it was going to be that level that was going to mess me up. That's really upsetting, man. We lost a total of 1 minute and 20 seconds throughout the course of that level. Oh well. Alright, so now we're moving on to 3-Fort, and 3-Fort? Did I say Fort? I meant 3-4. So we're getting to the last remaining levels. We're getting to the last, like, 7 or so levels that we have to do. So we have, yeah, 5 more levels, and then 2 bosses. Right here, this is a little bit difficult. You can actually hit the ceiling and the floor and get killed by that, so I'm trying not to go too high and too low. Swag strat right there. Your head has no hitbox there for some reason. I don't know why. I just like showing that off. Alright, now this level is a little bit annoying, again, because of the fact I really hate that Runner3 does this every once in a while. It changes your perspective a lot. It changes the camera perspective, and I absolutely hate it. Because, again, it's really hard to focus on the movement in this game, let alone focusing on the movement with this game while the camera's doing a 360 no-scope. So, it's really annoying, and part of me is happy that it's in this game because it adds more difficulty, but again, it's really not needed. It's unneeded difficulty. But anyhow, there we go. That slide bounce I did off the bounce pad at the beginning of this level. Fun fact, if you do that there, you run the risk of actually launching over the rocket that was at the start of this level as well. And we're going to do it again here, where we could actually go over the cart, but thankfully we didn't. So it's a little risky to do that, so I don't know why I did it, but alright, there we go. That jump right there is a little hard, that jump off that that gap. There we go. Alright, that was really good, actually. I always end up taking a death on that card section because sometimes it also eats my jump, and it's always not fun. Alright, we have to jump over this guy. Again, these robots, probably the most weirdest part that you don't expect. That was annoying. Oh my god, I'm just having the dumbest deaths today. I have to mention that I'm doing good, and then I do bad. That's marathon luck right there. I guess that's the commentator's curse. I just commentator's curse myself. And again, there's the game eating my input again. I pressed up and just didn't expect it. I'm not trying to say that this game is perfect. I know I sang its praises the past 10 minutes or so. It does have its annoying parts of running this game as well too. But what game doesn't have its ups and downs? But I think this game's pros like overexceed its cons in a way. So that was a really bad level. Again, 2 very bad levels in a row. Really was hoping to PB this run, but whatever. That's 12 deaths? Alright, thank you for keeping track, by the way, people in chat. Alright, so we're getting to, as you can see, like, you can see where the final boss is going to be at the highest point of each island. So we kind of know where it's going to be. So we're getting there. We're on 3-5. All right. So yeah, there's not much to really talk about after this. I've already explained a lot of what goes into this run. It's more just about talking about the certain skips when I get to it. But when I'm in between levels during the loading screen, there's a lot of like time for nothing. Like there's a lot of like downtime. So like I guess like if I end up submitting this to GDQ or something like that, that's like time for donation readings. Also, I'm sorry, what happened there? I don't even know anymore, because that's like the second time in a row in 2 levels or 3 levels that I've had my input on a spring eaten fully, and that was like extremely stupid. I'm not happy with that at all in the slightest. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I accidentally grabbed a trophy there. I could have avoided it, but again, I tried to avoid using the spring, so I think overall it's going to save time because I didn't use the spring. We'll have to see. I just don't want to grab that one there, because that would have wasted another second. There we go. Again, those double jump kicks are really hard to do for those boards. Alright, very good. And right here, this is hold down the video game. I like to you guys to it. Alright. Yeah, right there is where hold down the video actually becomes like a good meme for this game. Yeah, trust me, there's some much harder levels coming up. The last like 3 levels, in my opinion, are the hardest levels in the game, so we're not even there yet. I'm already failing, so trust me, they do get harder. We're probably gonna have a few more deaths. We'll see. Alright, these jumps are very tight, by the way. Again, because you have such high speed that you have to like be a little careful because of how fast you're going. Alright, there we go. Good. So I'm going to try to go a little silent here, just so I don't die, because we've already had enough deaths in this run as is, and I would like to keep those to a minimum. And now, if this isn't worse, you have to... What? Oh my god. I'm sorry, you can tell how done I am with the input drops. It might just be my controller at this point. I'm not using the controller I usually do. I'm using the controller I use for Celeste, which may be the issue, but that's really stupid. That time it just ate my input for no reason whatsoever, again, but this time it was worse because doing that, like, dying there was a big time loss. I lost like 30 seconds. There we go. Whatever. We're done. Oh my god, I hate that level. I hate the end of World 3. This is like the worst part of the run where like a lot of the run comes to die. This is where the hardest stuff is, where the hardest levels are. Really gets to a difficult point. Nope, don't go there. That's a shop right there that you can go to. Again, that's my issue with holding up on the D-pad during the menus. Sometimes I do it too much and end up going to the wrong area. Alright, so this is 3-6 Manical Madness. A very interesting level. If I'm remembering correctly, I think this is the level with the portals. We'll see. Oh, never mind. This is an annoying level. I forgot. This level sucks. Has a lot of hard stuff in it. Also, this is kind of cool. You do a launch into that. Alright, you gotta do that. Alright, this part right here, that they give you no warning there on that. Okay, that part right there is really hard to do, because you're at full speed and you have to do all that stuff. Right here we have to switch lanes at the right time, so the game won't kill us. So right here, switch. And you switch with the L and R buttons. The game has never really taught us that, but you can do it. Like, it's never actually been mandatory for a level until now. Alright, right here, easy skip. That is the easiest of the spring skips in this game, for sure. Alright. There we go. That trophy is actually faster to grab than going the normal path, again, because floating is slower. Alright, there we go. I can't tell you how many times I've done that jump and then accidentally get hit there at the end. It happens a lot. Now, this part is annoying because we're on a rocket here, And this rocket part is very, very easy to die on because of all these energy balls. And each one of these energy balls kills you, and the fireball kills you. Oh, I hate this level. This level, like, again, I think I hate the end of World 3 more than I hate World 2. And I hate World 2 in general just because the atmosphere is really boring. But no, like, the levels get so hard here at this point. Like, again, the difficulty curve is crazy at this point. Alright, so right here. Now this part's a little cool. Swag strat, we can skip this. Alright. So this part right here is where stuff gets a little bit tight, where we have to weave in between these bubbles. I always end up taking a death there, by the way, on this rocket ship section, so I was expecting it. I didn't expect to die this much in this run, dude. That's upsetting. But whatever. Also, I made a mistake earlier. I said 4 deaths. I meant 24 deaths is my best. Sorry. I don't know why I said 4. Because this game is hard. You will die a lot in this game. Alright. Moving on. So now... honestly, at this point, I'm just aiming for a sub 130, which definitely is still possible. How much harder is all gold percent? In my opinion, all gold percent would probably be easier than any percent, considering that the gold leads you in a safe direction where you won't die. And so, for the most part, all the gold is on the regular path. And yeah, for the most part... Oh god, yeah, it's doing that spring skip there sucks. But yeah, for the most part, the gold is on your way throughout any percent anyhow, so it's not like you're going too far away from the 80% path. It's just not that hard to miss. Obviously, there's a few dangerous gold pieces, but in my opinion, it's definitely harder than any percent. I won't, like, I was just joking with saying that it was easier than any percent, but it shouldn't be too much harder than any percent. And again, I haven't made the, there's also special levels, by the way, which are called impossible levels in this game, so if that shows you anything, they're very difficult levels that I'm so happy we don't do in any percent. But yeah, they are extremely difficult and they have 100 gold in them, so if you do all gold percent, you will be doing those levels as well, which add a lot of time. So it's definitely harder than 8%, but not too much difference than you would think. Alright. That was the one area, by the way, that if you held down, you wouldn't actually do a ground pound, so yeah. Also, these moving elevators are really hard to jump onto, so that's a very easy place to die there, by the way, on that staircase. Sorry, by the way, if I've been, like, complaining a little bit too much in this run. Just a lot of, like, stuff that's never happened before because of input drops has been happening this run. And it's been a little upsetting because, again, this is this game's first time in a marathon at all, online or on-site. So I want to do my best to show what kind of a great game this is. Also, this is, like, one of the coolest skips right there. I really wanted to do the best at showing off this game, and I hope I'm still doing that, even if I'm being a little salty for your liking. Alright, there we go. You definitely have time for a bathroom break. We still have 4 more levels. Alright. Oh, what? No, no. There we go. So that's a really weird instance there. We have to press right and up, and I keep thinking you have to press right and then right again, but I always mess up on that part. Yeah, true. Runner3 was also, like, that was, like, one of the hardest parts. I never actually beat Runner2. I plan to run that game eventually, but currently Runner3 is my main focus for the Runner series. I want to see that game take off before I leave it for the time being. Alright, I think, if I remember correctly, this is the level that has the portals in it, and if I am correct about that, yes, okay, this level has one really tough skip in it, so if you've played Portal before, what did I hit? I'm sorry, what? I was holding down. I guess input got dropped again. So, if you played Portal before, it's basically, how they work in this. You go in one portal, come out the same side as the other color. or as the same color, sorry. And yeah, you're gonna see that portals, you can jump in them from any, the hitboxes in the portals are actually a little weird, but as long as you jump into them, it's pretty cool. And it's one of the coolest mechanics. Come on, game. This is being really annoying now. All my inputs are getting dropped, and I'm actually hating it, because I don't deserve this. I don't get it. Like, I've never experienced this many input drops. It's just today. Like, and I have no clue why. Oh well. Alright, so right here, this is where the run starts getting interesting for this level, because the different portals, and it's really hard to see when you come into the background, so hopefully, yeah, that's why I died the last time. The portal messed me up, or sorry, the background messed me up, the point of view did. Alright, so right here, we're gonna float over top of this guy, and again, 3 is the charm. No matter what, on the 3rd hit, he will always have a kick, like I said, so don't go down there, because we don't want to make the same mistake. That is another side quest mission, and we already went to one of those this run. We won't want to go to another one. Alright, so, also, by the way, I did mention that world record is kind of dead right now. That's actually not true. Fun fact, in my current world record, I think I had like 5 deaths on the final boss, because the final boss is very difficult, so if we get a perfect final boss, we could still world record. We'll see. It's very unlikely. This run's been horrible so far to me, so I doubt it. Also, this is the hardest jump in the game right here. Oh, barely make it. Okay, that spring skip is super hard, so I'm glad I got it. There we go. Alright, very nice. 18 deaths. Man, I'm gonna lose all my money here. I might be spending $100 today, boys, on the marathon. Alright.
Heavy metal.
Alright, so this is the last actual level, and then it's just boss fights from here on out, so... We have about like a 10 to 15 minute warning for time, just letting you know. But yeah, so overall, this run has been okay. I mean, it's definitely going to go far under estimate, which I expected, but like, definitely not as good as it could be. Definitely not as good to my liking. Just shows, like, again, the main thing you're going to want to learn in this game is optimizing your deaths and not getting as many deaths, because even though you may do all of the big frame savings saves like I do, deaths overall is what loses the most amount of time, as I've shown off in this run. Obviously, that's why I died. I died on purpose, to show you guys that you shouldn't be dying. Definitely, I didn't do it like by mistake or anything. Also, this is the hardest to control vehicle in the game. That right there, that first turn, in my opinion, is the hardest 3D segment. So thankfully, we got that first try. Alright, so... yeah, so this is the last, like, actual level, and then all we have left after this is boss fights to do. 2 boss fights to be exact, one for World 3, and then the final boss. Which the final level is actually just called the final battle. Alright.
I figured I would let you know that if you do in fact donate $5 for every death, you have already had enough deaths, but you could set the file name for OOT to anything you want. I would just like to quickly call that out, because Dem Call is currently winning with $82, and 18 times 5, that's 90. So.
Oh man, do I have time to crack open my wallet that quick after this run? I don't know. Oh my god, okay, so that's an issue right there.
If you're actually going to
I might just donate with no incentive. We'll see. So that jump right there was very tight, by the way. That's the part that I really like to focus on, because this is a very tight section, one of the fastest parts, speeds that they put you into. The fastest speed that they put you into is during the final boss, and we'll see that the most insane part of the run, in my opinion, is during the final boss. A lot of deaths. I think the final boss took me an hour in this game the first time I played it. It was really hard. Definitely the biggest difficulty curve in this game, and you'd be surprised to hear that with how much I've talked about difficulty curves. Ooh, chat. Hearing that I can name the final name whatever I want, that makes me intrigued. Chat's got to help me out here. I need an opinion. What should we name the the file name? if I do decide to do it. Alright, so this is the second level, the second last level, so you got like a 10-minute warning, so start getting the next run, if you haven't already. So this is what I like to call Fish Boy. This is called, or as it's actually known, the Reverse Merkamech. This is a really cool boss, in my opinion. It's gonna test how good. Actually, this is the only boss, or the only time in this game so far, where the game actually forces you to use the button mechanic. And so you have to press the buttons here in order to do it. So yeah, we need to hit the buttons or else we're gonna die. Or we could just die. Whatever, dude. Whatever. I hate this game today. What the heck, dude? So many unfair deaths that I've never seen before have been happening today. I guess I could say that's never happened before, but I don't want to be a cliche meme. I'd rather not. Alright. There we go. I was actually planning on submitting this run as my submission video for AGDQ. Maybe I won't now because of how bad this run is turning out. Oh my god. So that's an instance of jumping too early. I might have to go back on what I said. I might have to donate $1 per death. I didn't think I was gonna die this much, dude. It's $100. Ooh, we'll see. If I die too many times on the boss, it all depends. I don't know what's happening. Again, it's eating my jump input, which is not good. I guess it's what I get for not taking that safe. Alright. Alright, so here we have to do this, and that's the first hit. There we go. Alright, so now we have to hit more buttons in order to take out this guy. There we go. And again, this boss is pretty easy. Once you have played him once, you know how to beat him every time. It's not that bad. There we go, just jump over him because he can kill you there. It's very low chance that that'll happen. And again, I don't know what's up with my controller today. I'm gonna try to figure it out in between today and tomorrow because there's something up with this D-pad and I don't know what's up with it right now, but it's eating all my inputs and it's being very annoying. So maybe it's time for a new controller. We'll see. All right, this is the final hit here, and now we're moving on to the final battle. So just to let you know when time is going to be, it's not for another like 2 to 3 minutes, but time is going to be when the boss damage flips up. And you'll know what I mean when I say it, so we'll see. All right. So this is the final boss, and in my opinion, this is a really anticlimactic final boss because, yeah, it's a cool-looking final boss, but like it has nothing to do with the story. Like, then again, we skipped the story in this game. It does actually have a cutscene at the beginning that shows before you even choose your character. But yeah, for the most part, we start off here with a 3D section, and then we have a moving section, and then the final hits that we have to do. So, yeah, so time will be after the 6 hits that you'll see happen at the very end. It's weird timing because again, we don't fully time via RTA, but yeah, you'll see what I mean when I get to it. Also, this is a very difficult section, so I'm glad I got through there with no deaths. That's one of the hardest sections. Now, this right here is the hardest part of the entire run. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to die here. If I don't die here, I need Pog Champs in the chat, because you'll see when we get... Like, this part right here is not that bad. But it's the part after that I'm talking about. This part right here where it speeds up. This is where the run gets intense. So I'm gonna not talk. And let you bask in the glory. Oh my god. Okay, so that was first try. That's never happened before. We're on world record pace. So I always die on that section. Basically, you saw that those really tight jumps that I was making. Oh, whoops, that's a nice death there. You saw those really tight jumps that I was making, where I slammed down on the raised up pillars. Basically, you have 2 frames to do those jumps, and you have to do it 3 times during that part of the boss, and it's very difficult. I don't know if this will be a world record. It'll be very close. I don't know if I want to count this as a world record because this run sucked. Alright, so that's the final hit, and time is coming up here. And as soon as it flips up, time. That, everybody, is a new world record by 8 seconds. 1:28:53 is the new world record for Runner3. I cannot believe that actually a world record. That was horrible. Alright. So that is Runner3, and before we end off, I want to I'll say my goodbyes during this. I'm going to see what my RTA was.
GG, you have a lot of time because I still need to set up some stuff on the intermission. So your time, I did have to cut the feed to a different, like essentially I had to reopen the stream on another capture,
and now it's time for
because I had to increase the delay.
Runner3.
So RTA is currently saying 1:28:55,
Runner3.
but due to that stream cut, I cut to a stream with more delay. So that's actually probably more like a 1:28:51. I hope you were local recording because
I was. It's a 1:28:53. I have my splits open.
53. All right, good. Okay, you can say whatever because I need to still do some intermission stuff.
All right, perfect. And the RTA is actually a PB as well. That's the in-game time is also PB. That's a 1:11:44. So yeah, it's the first ever sub 112 RTA. In-game time. That's the first ever 1:28 RTA. Overall, that run sucked. I don't know how that PB'd, but this has minutes of improvement. So you guys witnessed a world record. There you go. But yeah, that's Runner3. It's a very optimized run, and even though it's not optimized currently, it can definitely go far lower than what it's currently at right now. It just shows the endless possibilities this game has, because if someone puts in a lot of time, and once I, like lower my death count from 22, was it? Yeah, my PB had 24, so that makes sense. So yeah, that's Runner3, and I hope some people who have either a Switch, a PC, or something like that, PS4, decide to pick up this game. We're a very open community. It's basically me for the community, so I hope you guys will give it a chance. Play it, try it out. If you like it, I'm always open to helping you out. Again, if you get less deaths than me, you'll most likely just get world record, even if you don't go for the big time saves. So far, the run's far from optimized, but we're more so trying to just lower the death count and lower the time and see how far we can push this game. So thank you so much, NGA, for letting me do this run. It was bad at the end, good at the beginning, and a world record at the end. So thanks for watching, guys, and I guess we will see the next run whenever they're ready.
I am still not ready for my intermission stuff, so you can still shout out a few more people. So we're ahead of schedule, don't worry.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I guess shout out to the runner community. Again, it's not that big. I think the runner community, the biggest of the runner games is Runner2. So I guess if you want to pick a game that's more well known, that's.
You have time to link the Discord in the chat. That's what you have.
I don't even have. The game doesn't have a Discord.
Make one, dude. For the next marathon.
Make one.
Yeah. I've made one. Okay, I want to tell the story quickly. While I can do that while setting up, because I run another game called. Well, I did run. I currently am more busy with other stuff. But there's a game called Technomage: Return of Eternity, and it's I just did optimize the first 2 worlds like really hard, and there's somebody else called Ozoma who ran the game full game. Runs the game full game, knows everything about it, and I decided we should make a Discord about it. It's just gonna be us 2 most likely, right? And we decided to just talk in there for the time, right?
Yeah.
Talk in English because we're both German still, right? But still talk in English, right? Just in case, who knows? Maybe somebody will you know, runs this game, right? And then like literally like 2 weeks ago, somebody joined that Discord. It's like, oh yeah, I played this game as a kid. Here's like 4 different glitches you can use to save like 20 minutes of your run. I mean, I know it's no glitches. I know it's no glitches allowed, right? But I figured I'd just call that out. So do make a Discord. I'm sure people will be happy for it. If you do decide to submit this to GDQ, then that will help.
I am submitting this to GDQ. I might actually use this as my submission video because I think it had decent commentary throughout. So.
Oh, you absolutely nailed it. There is when I had to switch sources, there was a point where your commentary unfortunately cut out for like 10 seconds. There's not really much I could do about that, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's
that was doing the sausage thing, but I've already forgot the name. The Craigism boss, I forgot. That's why I had to cut the sources temporarily.
Yeah, and thank you, chat, for keeping track of my deaths. I appreciate it. I might have to lower what I said because I don't know if I have $100. We'll have to see what I have in my bank, but I will definitely donate per death. Maybe I'll donate $3 per death or something like that. I'll see how much I got.
That's your call. It's your call.
Yeah, I'll probably just donate towards whatever name has the least amount or something.
Yep. We'll be throwing an intermission. We have the last run of the marathon coming up. Bible thump in the chat. It's over. It's over soon. Feels bad, man. But we still have some. If you do want to snipe a name alongside King J, I don't know if you're gonna donate $80, but if King J's gonna throw it to a name and it's less than $82, you could still be Damp Call, which is the current name submitted for Ocarina of Time. But yeah, we'll be throwing an intermission.
Is it really at $82?
Yep, somebody donated $82 for Damp Call.
Maybe I won't donate that much. Again, I don't know how much I have. I have to check. I didn't expect to die this much.
We'll see. And we'll throw it on intermission and we'll get that set up. Well, it's supposed to start in 50 minutes, so we'll get that set up right around that time, so thanks for running.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Enjoy, guys.
Alright, we're almost ready for getting OOT up here, so get hyped for the last run of the marathon, Bible Thumb. But we're just double checking some stuff we're waiting on potentially. We'll see if Kingj actually... yeah, I don't think he expected to get 20 deaths either, but we'll wait on that, and we'll get OT to you about 5 to 10 minutes. Bye.